Okay, so welcome everyone for the contributed talk session of this week. So it is my pleasure to have P. Muthukumar from Indian Statistical Institute. He will talk about shift invariant subspaces of composition operators. So Muthukumar, please.
Thank you. So very good afternoon to everyone. So I thank the organizer for giving me a chance to speak here. So first we recall the definition of Hardy space. So Hardy space is a set of all analytic functions on the unit disk D with this norm is finite. And if we the set of all bounded analytic functions we denote by H infinity. The closed unit ball of H infinity. So we denote by S of D. So that means like so the set of bounded functions with the supreme is less than 1. So there's a from S of D there's a special class of functions. If you have analytic function is called inner function. If it's a bounded if it's from S of D and the radial limit satisfies that. So this so the boundary values is equal to 1 is almost everywhere on the circle. Okay. So now so this is just the definition of Blaschke product. So I hope you all of you know this. Yeah, this may be like maybe finite product also. So yes, but this condition is makes sure that so that this infinite product is converges. So that so we are adding these conditions to make sure that this product converges. Yeah, and then so this is a another inner functions which is like a singular inner functions. If these are this form, but so these functions it will never it has no zeros on the unit disk. So like so the examples we can just take like so this is like a simple we will call it as singular inner functions. Okay. So let pi be automorphism other than identity map. Then we are just classifying to some three major category as a elliptic if it has exactly one fixed point in the unit inside the unit disk. So namely as examples we can take some rotation maps. We'll call them hyperbolic if it has a two different fixed points on the circle, and if we have say exactly one fixed point we'll call them as a parabolic. Okay. So take a holomorphic self map of unit disk which is not a elliptic map. Elliptic automorphism is not identity map. Then the famous theorem which says that there's a unique point in the closure of the unit disk such that it's the iterations of phi which converge to the constant function w. So normally this w has some extra property. It will be like as a fixed point of w, and with some more like the derivative conditions, extra conditions. We call them this point to be a Denjai-Wolf point of the given self map phi. Yeah. So now we'll just return to the natural operators on Hardy spaces. So there are these two very famous and then the important operators on Hardy spaces: composition operator and multiplication operator. For a given self map, just if you just compose them while composing, you get this composition operator, and for a fixed given map, you just if you multiply it, then you will get this multiplication operator. Okay. And for a given any self map, so this operator will be always the boundary line operator on H2. So this follows from the Ritz subordination principle. And this multiplication operator is a bounded operator if and only if the inducing symbol, this size should be a bounded map. Okay. If you take a multiplication operator mz, that means the induced by the psi equal to z, then so this is known as a shift operator. Namely, it just shift the coefficients. So that's why we call it a shift operator. Yeah. So now for the shift operator, there's a famous theorem which says that the any invariant subspace of this shift operator, it should be of the only form like theta times h2, where theta is an inner function. So that means these are the only subspaces which are invariant under the multiplication operators. MZ. Okay. So after this question, like after this result, then the invariant subspace problem is started. Like it's apparently arises after this result. Namely, so they are asking like for a given any operator, can you is it possible to find the invariant subspace? So that was in the natural question came to the people's mind. Yeah. So the exact question is: does every boundary linear operator on an infinite dimensional separable Hilbert space where it has a non-trivial closed invariant subspace or not? Of course, still now it's open question. There is an interesting conjecture which says that this invariant subspace problem has a positive solution if and only if a minimal non-trivial invariant subspace of the composition operator will be always a one-dimensional subspace, where phi is any hyperbolic automorphism. Yeah. It says just this, instead of saying like any general space, any general operator, it's enough to consider a single space, namely Hardy space, and a fixed operator is a composition operator, and it should be a hyperbolic automorphism. I just recall once again, the hyperbolic automorphism is nothing but a automorphism with two fixed points on the boundary. Okay. So after these results, so people started studying what are the invariant subspace of a given composition operator. So that the question becomes like an interesting topic. Yeah. So we denote the lattice of C5, just this notation for the all closed invariant subspace of C5. Yeah. But we already know that for a multiplication operator, so the theta times h2 inner product, the theta times h2 for where theta is inner. These are the only subspaces of invariant subspace of this multiplication operator. So that's why just we want to at least know when this theta times h2 will be invariant subspace for this other operator, this composition operator. Yeah. So in this recent paper, we give the characterization for this question. We give a complete answer for this question. So before that, let me give some history. For given like this special map, the invariant subspaces of is fully known. Namely, these are the only invariant subspace of for the composition operator given by this fixed self map. So this was given in 2010. Yeah. And in 2005, Jones considered the joint invariant subspace of composition operator. That means like the invariant subspace which is common to the composition operator and multiplication operator. And in his paper, he gave one result when phi is a parabolic automorphism, then the invariant subspace of C5 cannot contains the B times H2, where B is a Blaschke product. But indeed, this result is false. This is not true. So indeed, our recent paper, we just corrected it. If it's a parabolic automorphism, then for each z in the unit disk, there's a Blaschke product BZ times H2. This will be in the lattices of C5, where this BZ is nothing but now take a orbit of Z and consider the Blaschke product which correspond to making us this as a zeros of the function. And in 2015, Matachi he proved that for this intersection is always non-trivial. That means for a given any self map of phi, there is always an inner function theta, so that this theta times h2 will be as an invariant subspace of C5. So in our paper, we'll give a very short proof of this result. Yeah. And Cowan and Wall, they done some beautiful results. It says that if you take a Blaschke product, when this will be invariant under C5. So then they're just taking as a take a zeros of this Blaschke product, and this multiplicity should be less than or equal to the multiplicity of for a function B composition with this phi. So and this is for the Blaschke when the BH2 is invariant under C5. And he took a, suppose if we take an analytic function and with take a mod A equal to 1, that means you are taking some boundary point. Now take a singular inner function. So theta is this is a singular inner function. If this times H2 is an invariant under C5, if and only if the point A is a Denjai-Wolf point of phi. That means A is a boundary fixed point of phi with the derivative is less than or equal to 1. Okay. But now here the interest, but now we don't see like the common single result which says that when a theta times H2 is invariant under C5, there's no like a because here this for this function case we have results in terms of multiplicity for the zeros. But when you take in the case of singular inner functions, these inner functions which does not have zeros in the unit disk, so we cannot talk about multiplicity. So there's no a common like a fixed condition for giving a general case. So that we gave in the our paper. Yeah. So our main result says that now take anything in the function and pi is analytic self map. Then this theta times H2 is an invariant subspace if and only if this ratio is a bounded function, or namely is bounded by 1. Or is even like you can take a weaker condition, theta times so this ratio is just part of H2, so that will be sufficient. Yeah. And one more condition in terms of the reproducing kernels. Okay. Maybe I'll just see okay whether why these two are just equivalent. The main tools are, if you take any H2 functions and the radial limit, if it's bounded, like the boundary values, if the radial limit satisfies the bounded, then the function will be automatically in H infinity with the supremum norm. That means the essential supremum of and the boundary will be the bound for the supremum inside the unit disk. So that means the function belongs to H2 with the same as our bound. Okay. And then one more result, like if you have two operators on any Hilbert space, the range of A subset of range of B means then there is another operator C such that A equal to B times C. So that means yeah. So these are main tools for the theorem. So now using this result, just see that now theta is an inner function. So if the on the boundary, so this takes the theta times e by t will be like the modulus will be 1. So hence, so this would be modulus will be less than or equal to 1. So hence, so if we just assume this function is H2, then by taking the radial limit and modulus, we can see that like so this will be automatically in S of. Okay. So here just the simple approach. So I'll just give you the idea of the proof. Suppose theta times H2 is an invariant subspace. Then obviously then theta times 1, the image will be theta composition phi. So this is a part of theta times H2. That gives that there's a other function in H2 which is such that this will be theta times F. Yeah. That means whenever if a point is vanishes at theta, then it has to vanishes at this point. With the multiplicity will be more than so multiplicity of this function will be more. Okay. So that is which says that so this function will be a analytic. This ratio makes sense. We can divide makes sense is divide an analytic function, and we can get the F. Because F is from H2, we can say that this ratio is a H2 function. Yeah. Once if it's in H2, by taking the radial limit, we see that so this would be in as a bounded function with the modulus 1. Yeah. So that we can just easily observe. Now, on the other hand, if the ratio is a bounded function, then take this to be say F. Okay. Then theta times theta of pi will be theta times F. Okay. Now for any H2 function, take a theta times H, and then if you just composition the C5 image, it will be theta times phi, H times phi. But theta times theta of pi, we know that it's a theta times f. So yeah, so now we have theta into f into this. But as we know that like a composition operator, so this is a this h is a h2 function. So this composition is always a as bound operator. So this will be h2 element. Okay, this is a h2 element, but f is some bounded function. So if you bounded function and then this is h2 function, so this product will be again h2 function. Yeah, so that hence like we have theta times some h2 function. So hence, so we have this image second part of theta times h2. Yeah, and next, if you take a so this is a theta. So like a theta times h2 is an invariant subspace if and only if. So this is a multiplication operator by, if you just think of as a multiplication operator by theta, then we can write this is the same thing is equivalent to saying that the range of C5 times m theta will be a subset of range of m theta. Yeah, if you have like now the range of the first operator subset of the range of second operator by the rank by the Douglas inclusion theorem, we have there's another operator having this property, which is equivalent to saying that now by taking adjoints we have this result. Yeah, but we know that like on the C5 star how it's acts on the reproducing kernels. So by applying the kernel on both sides, so we get like, so this x star, so this the time, yeah, so like if we just apply the kernel, we have like this result. But we know that this set is like this is a total set for the Hardy space. So hence like, so this is valid for so this we can, so this operators make sense. So once if you define this the operator for only for the set k, so this will be extended to the whole set h2. Yeah, so this is the another equivalent condition of our main result. Yeah. Okay, so now for a given, for this intersection is always is a non-trivial. So this is just very simple proof. Take a phi, suppose phi has a fixed point inside the unit disk. Then take a simple Blaschke product with Venice's at point alpha. Okay, so then if you take a theta to be this one, so then the theta times h2 will be obviously this will be invariant subspace. By our previous definitions, we can easily check that. Yeah, and suppose if does not have a fixed point, then obviously then the fixed point should be lies on the boundary. The Deja phi is both on the boundary. But if it lies on the boundary, then this will be an invariant subspace for this composition operator. So hence, for a given any self map, we always have a inner function theta. So if it's a fixed point inside the unit disk, then we can take this Blaschke product, the simple Blaschke product. If it's a fixed point like the fixed point lies on the boundary, we can take this singular inner function. So in any case, we have always have a inner function such so that theta times h2 is an invariant at a C5. Yeah. So now, so we have natural questions. So now, if you have a characterization for the theta times h2 to be invariant under C5, the next natural question will be when its complement will be the invariant subspace under the C5. That means the model spaces when it will be invariant under C5. And next question, like for a given self map phi, what is the complete lattice? Like what are the all subspace of all invariant subspaces? Okay, so in particular, but actually we need to fix phi to be a hyperbolic automorphism. So if you ask what is the complete lattice for the hyperbolic automorphism, so that the invariant subspace problem will be solved. But for the case like when the model spaces is invariant, so we have some like we take a theta to be a Blaschke product of like first we take as a single zero, and then we give an answer in this paper. But if we take a even the theta to be some finite Blaschke product, we don't have answer like when this be a model space, this theta h2 pair will be invariant. So this is still open question. Yeah, and indeed this invariant subspace problem is started due to the multiplication operator on the Hardy space. due to the Berling's theorem, then they started asking about this question. Now we hope that so this will be a this linear surface problem it will be solved by a composition operator, and namely this C5 with a very high hyperbolic automation. So that completes the H2. Yeah, thanks. So on.
Okay, so first let's thank the speaker. Is there any question or comments? Okay, so
Yeah, maybe so. Indeed, for the given self map, so there are a lot of while solving the inherent surface problem, they take a different as a classification, maybe the danger hole point, if it lies on the boundary, or if it's inside the unit disk, then how it's different cases. If it's in the boundary, if it's equal to 1, then we call them to be parabolic cases. If it's less than 1, we'll call them to be hyperbolic case. And then this is again is a automorphism case, not non-automorphism case, and different things it goes. And similarly, the fixed point, if it's inside the things, then the Mobius map. So if it's automorphism or not automorphism, then there are a different so I have these different classifications. So we can so begin the these questions. Yeah, thank you.
okay, I think there is no question. So let's thank the speaker once again.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.